people, and welcome to Greg Moore TV. Today's topic is going to be based off of grounding out with spirit, or grounding with spirit. Now, I've done 4 previous videos with the 4 elements, the natural elements: earth, air, water, fire. Now I'm ending this season with this last 5th element, which is called grounding with the spirit. And this is the spirit form of the elements. For many people don't know that the spirit form of the element is basically the invisible aspect of all the elements. Even though all elements have their their spiritual aspects of it, or chemical aspect of it. Well, in this one, we're going to be basically focusing on just some basic characteristics and basic concepts of the spirit, and what does it mean, and how can you tell that your spirit, or that you're actually tapping into the element of spirit. One of the characteristics that I basically want to focus on is the spiritual emotional aspect of it, which is compassion. A lot of people don't have it now these days, and it's so hectic with all the things that's going on now these days that some people just can't find forgiveness of themselves or forgiveness of what someone else done. And see, compassion leads to these things right here, and this is how you know that you're in that realm of the element of spirit, because if compassion shows generally on a regular basis, as well as what I mean by showing on a regular basis is being able to forgive and being able to understand somebody else's situation, even though that your situation, you may not have been through that situation, or maybe you have been through that situation, and being able to understand them on that spiritual, emotional level is grand. And this is what this world really needs: more people to be understanding in that area. There's a lot of spiritual teachings that doesn't get into this area and doesn't teach about spiritual compassion or spiritual emotions that lead to compassion, that helps one to forgive self and to forgive others. So this video is based off that topic and off those correspondence alone. So here are some simple exercises that you can pretty much do that can help you basically get to that understanding of spiritual compassion, or spiritual emotions that leads to compassion that helps you forgive yourself and others. Okay, so say for instance you have a situation where you've been hurt. Like for me, I'll use a personal example. Say for instance that I've been hurt by the government. Okay, I lost my parents at a very early age. I don't have a father or anything like that, but yet still I am entitled to a certain arrangement of payment because of losing that here in the United States of America, and I never received that. So my way of retaliating against them would be not to vote or anything in that matter. Well, it's just an example. It's not really real, but it's just an example. And basically, how would I put myself in a position where I can actually just say, you know what, regardless of what happened in the past, I still need to learn to forgive, because how can I heal anybody else if I can't be a sample of my own words, or a sample of what divine compassion is? And like I said, love without intelligence is fruitless. So with that's the way that I would think on a common basis. And what I would do is just basically, like I told you in the first 4, get yourself in a relaxed state. Because as you begin to get yourself in this relaxed state, you're already realizing that, you know what, you need to change. And that's the first acknowledgement of that, in a spiritual realm, in the speak. So you relax, you get yourself in a deep, relaxed place, somewhere safe, somewhere away from everybody else. What you want to do also is you want to make sure that you have your guardians or your guides or your patron spirit, whichever is a god or goddess, whichever one that you work with, that's going to help you, whether it's your ancestors or whatever, whichever way you look at it. You know, whatever. This is universal, so it can be applied to any one of those simple concepts. It's not focused in a particular area. The only focus is just basically getting the message out and helping you understand spiritual emotions that leads to compassion, that helps one to forgive itself and others. That's the main concept, and that's universal. It took me a while to master this technique, to bring universal messages like this, but this I give to you as a gift from the universe, as me as an agent of the universe. So as you begin to relax and you get yourself in this predicament, or you get yourself in the predicament of being able to accept the spirit nature and to realize your spiritual nature of unforgiveness or uncompassion, Breathe in. After you got that couple deep breaths, and remember, if you're just starting out, two, 4, 2. 2 taking in, 4 holding, 2 letting out. If you're more advanced, it's 3 taking in, 6 holding, and 3 letting out. Okay? So now that you got this point and you feel this area, now I'm warning you, be careful, because these techniques that I'm using right here will cause your body to physically vibrate, and it will cause lightheadedness, but it's because it's causing the change that's necessary that helps you to get to the point where you need to get to. And whatever your goal is focusing on, grounding out with this particular spirit or particular element. So now that you got this point, you want to focus yourself on your spiritual emotions, which is your heart chakra, the higher or the lower, whichever way you want to look at it. You want to go on it. Now see, some people don't know the difference. See that there's a spiritual high of your spiritual emotions, where it's basically just dealing with things in the spiritual area, like say for instance, learning to forgive God, even though you feel like he hurts you in some kind of way or form or something like that. Or the lower aspect of the spiritual emotions, which basically learning to forgive yourself or others because they have hurt you or something like that. So that's how you break down, and that's how you understand that. And that simple understanding. And basically, this is directed towards both the spiritual high as well as the spiritual low aspect of the human soul. And if you still are not understanding of what that means, the more you work with this and the more you understand life, you will begin to understand the grasping the message that I'm speaking here from the universal concept, which I'll be giving more videos and different topics on understanding how to align yourself with your true self and basically achieve your destiny. So back to that concept, back to the concept that's at hand, where basically understanding, we're going to focus on the lower spiritual aspect of the spiritual emotions. Now that you got the breathing going on, and now that you have yourself in this atmosphere, you created an atmosphere strong enough for your spirit to feel safe and comfortable enough to manifest itself in a physical aspect. Now you want to start doing the work, as in realizing that why do you have this hatred in your heart, or why do you have this uncompassionate feeling within your spiritual emotions? What is it that's causing you to feel this way? Is it resentment because of the way that you are in disregard because their justice has been unfair? Well, if that's the case, then realizing that things happen for a reason, and realize that you can't let this keep you down. You got to continue to keep moving, because life is still going to keep moving regardless of a particular incident that's unfair or unjust. Things just happen. And since life to some people is more about test and learning and growing and developing and becoming more of a unique you, this is another reason for you to keep on growing and keep on going, and not letting something like that hinder you or hold you back. Because believe it or not, this can actually cause contamination within your heart, which can cause heart attacks or strokes or anything in that matter. And believe me, it's real. It's very real. So the energy that playing with that, especially with yourself, a lot of people don't realize that when you're hurting yourself, you're hurting others without realizing it, because you can't see yourself. You can't see how you're acting. And this is how you're hurting other people, because you're uncompassionate towards yourself. So therefore, you're reflecting that same energy towards other people about their situation. Now, how do you get that particular situation stimulated enough to move and to ground it out from you, to replace it with compassion? Like I said in the first 4 episodes. Taking a deep breath, realizing that you're taking in the pure light of compassion, the spirit of compassion, the spirit of change and compassion of the emotional, spiritual self, lower self. These are the correspondence that you would use and be in the realization of this. And as you get this to this point, you hold, whether it's 2, 4, 2, or 3, 6, 3. Let go. And remember, you're letting go of the uncompassionate that's within yourself, on the spiritual, lower emotional aspect of yourself. You're taking in compassion, change, understanding towards self and others, holding, realizing it, and then let go of that uncompassionate and unsatisfactory aspect of yourself, unforgiving self of yourself towards others as well as yourself. And this can be used towards the same aspect of this higher spiritual emotions, where it's basically dealing with different deities or whatever in that sort of in that concept. So this is it. So stay tuned for my next videos. Thank you all for coming to Greg Moore TV. Shouts out to Jennifer M, my camera girl, and she's incredible. Y'all show some love to her. As well as thank you to my mom and my little brother and my grandmother who has given birth to me and to allow me to be here to give you this message as an agent of the universe to help heal you all. May you all like, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you and have a nice day.